Hey guys, Jano Zero. Today is a very special day. Today is my wife's 40th birthday, so yay for that. So I noticed I got my dress shirt on here, one of my dress shirts. We are going to make one of her favorite things, which is cheesecake. So let's get after it. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so the first thing that I'm going to make is the crust for the cheesecake. Now I've got a springform pan here, and what I did was I wrapped it around with aluminum foil and duct tape around the edges. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what you do because I baked mine in a water bath and I don't want any water seeping in. So I got a springform pan, wrapped it with aluminum foil, and then I wrapped it with some duct tape. 1 stick of butter melted, 1 pack of graham crackers, I just crush them up right here in the, oh look at that, all over the counter, no, crush them up in the container with just 1 pack of graham crackers, which I'm hoping is going to be enough. So I got them all crushed up. It's pretty good. Made a big old mess on the counter, which is always good. If there's any big chunks that are left in here, just go ahead and crush them up with your hand, and it'll start soaking up that butter that's in there. Now I'm going to add to this, I guess maybe a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I'm also going to add just a little bit, maybe another teaspoon or a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, however much you like. I mean, you can do it as much as you like, of brown sugar. And get a fork, mix it all around, and once again, make a big old mess on the counter. Then get all that butter soaked up, mix it all up good. And once you feel like you got all your butter soaked up and your mix is looks wet and damp, then we're going to go ahead and put it into the pan here. Got a couple of big clumps here that want to get broke up. Alright, now I'm going to put it into the pan here. And I just move it around onto the bottom, and then I start packing it down around into the sides. Make sure I get all the bottom covered up and get it packed down as good as I can. Now it won't come up over the whole sides, it won't cover the whole side or anything like that. It'll just cover the bottom and maybe just come up the side a little bit. That's about all this makes. I mean, if you wanted to make more crust to come all the way up, well, I don't know how that would work because I've never tried it. I mean, I guess it'll work out alright if you like more crust to put it all around. I just do the bottom and the side a little bit. So kind of like that. I pack it all in there, and then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let it start chilling down because it's still warm, and we'll start working on the filler mix. Okay, now I've got my whisk attachment on, and I've got 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese in the bottom here. So I am going to beat these until they're creamy. I will have to stop every once in a while and get my rubber spatula and clean the sides up. Because like I say, I want to beat this until this cream cheese is super creamy. And that'll take a little bit. If you're doing it with a hand mixer, you know, you can do it with a hand mixer. It just takes a little bit of arm strength, and I've decided to use my stand mixer because I've got other things going on right now. So I'm going to put this back in and let it keep beating until it is good and creamy, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, we are good and creamy now. I'm going to give it another scrape in here just to kind of lift it all up. Now the next thing that I am going to do is I'm going to turn my oven on and preheat it to 325 degrees. And I'm also going to get a big pot of water and get it on to the stove so that it can start boiling. A big stock pot of water or a big saucepan of water, some big pot of water to have the water start boiling. Now I'm going to add 3 eggs, but I'm going to add them one at a time. Hopefully they don't come all out at once. One at a time, the eggs, and we're going to mix those in too. Scrape my sides here. I'm going to make sure that the cheese and the eggs are all mixed in well and everything is smooth and creamy. I don't want any lumps. Now I always just use my attachment here to scrape off my spatula with. Okay, now while this is running, I don't see any more lumps in there. It's all mixing well. I'm going to take 1 cup of sugar and start adding it to the mix. A little bit at a time like I'm doing. I don't want to dump everything in at once because I don't want to take a chance on having any lumps in my cheesecake. So now we'll let that mix for a little bit until the sugar is dissolved and there's no more sugar granules. You'll be able to pick it up and rub it between your fingers. and feel if there's any sugar granules left in there, and that's how you know when it's really good and creamy. So I'll be right back with you when this is done. It should take probably about 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to take 1 pint of sour cream, and before I dump it into the mix, I'm going to just take a butter knife, and I'm just going to run it through and break it off from the sides, and just go ahead and run your butter knife through it to get it all good and creamy as well, to where you can pour it rather than scoop it, you know what I mean? Alright, so now move back over here to the mixer, turn the mixer on. We start adding our sour cream a little bit at a time. 1 pint of sour cream, we're going to start adding it to the mix. And I can just squeeze the tub now, and this little bit of sour cream will come out each time. And I will have to use a spoon at the end of it, but I don't want it all globbing in there all at once. I want it all to mix in. Alright, now I take my rubber spatula, get out the last little bit of sour cream. We'll let it all mix up together. And I will be right back with you. Alright, now I'm going to lift up my mixer. I'm going to give my bowl one last good scraping. Try to get as much of everything down there as I can. And at the same time, make sure that everything is creamy and I don't feel or see any lumps in the mix. Lumpy cheesecake is not good cheesecake. And all you got to do to avoid it is go slow and pay attention to what you're doing and make sure that everything gets mixed up like it's supposed to. So we are looking good. So I'm going to let it mix now just for a little bit longer. You get all this stuff here scraped off. Let it mix now for a little bit longer. And then we'll take it to the next step. So one last mixing. Alrighty, the main mix looks really, really creamy. So now I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, maybe a teaspoon and a half-ish to the mix, and we're going to mix that in real well. I'm going to let it mix for about a minute or a minute and a half. Alright, y'all, we got our mix all mixed in. Everything is creamy, which is how we want it. I'm going to take this out. Remove the bowl from the mixer, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, now I take a big roasting pan. It's a big one. Big roasting pan, and now I'm going to put our springform pan inside of the roasting pan. This has been chilling in the refrigerator for a little bit to stiffen up the crust down here on the bottom. And once I start putting my filler inside this, I don't want to move the pan any more than I have to. Not because the cake will fall or anything, it's just because I don't want it to break up and to bust up. I want it to be really nice and really good. So now that I have my springform pan inside the roasting pan, I'm going to take my filler and I'm going to pour it inside the pan here with the crust. And there we go. Now, I have, remember earlier I said I had a big pot of water on the stove that was bringing it to a boil. So once it gets all the way to a boil, then I'll get right back with you and I'll show you what I do with that. Okay. Now we are going to very slowly and very carefully pour in our water that we had boiling on the stove top. We're going to do it in one in the corner and just let the water run around the pan until it gets about halfway up the side of the pan. And then you stop. Now I have my oven preheated to 325 degrees. So let's get it in the oven. Alright, it is in the oven. Set our timer for 45 minutes. And we let it bake for 45 minutes in that, I call it a water bath. I'm sure there's some fancy name for it. I'm sure I've been told the fancy name for it, but I don't remember what the fancy name is. I call it baking it in a water bath. So there we go. Now we let it bake for 45 minutes and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, we are at 45 minutes. I'm going to pull this out of the oven now. It will still be very jiggly in the center, which is what you want. It'll be just fine. Now I'm just going to set this and let this cool just like it is for 30 minutes. I'm going to leave it alone and just leave it set for 30 minutes. So it's going to give it a little bit of time to start setting up, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's been sitting now for 30 minutes, cooling off in the water, and it should be cool enough now to the touch so where you can take it out of the water, dry off the bottom a little bit, and we're going to go put it into the refrigerator. So here we go. We're going to refrigerate this now. We're going to leave it in here to refrigerate for 4 hours. And here is a little berry sauce that I made to go on top. All I did was I took some blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and cherries, and I added about maybe a quarter cup of sugar, and I mashed it all together. And last night I did this, and I've been letting it set overnight in the refrigerator. I'm going to put that on top of just my wife's piece because my kids don't like that stuff. So now we're going to leave this sit in the refrigerator for about 4 hours and let it finish setting up and chilling. Okay guys, let's see where we are here. Been in the refrigerator for a little over 4 hours now. So I'm going to take the foil and the tape off to the side. Aluminum. Alright, now I'm going to just run a butter knife around the edge here. so that it doesn't stick to the pan. I don't want it to fall apart on me when I undo the spring form. Alright, now let's undo the spring and see what we got going on here. Wish me luck. Lord, I hope this came out good. And there we have it. Cheesecake, homemade cheesecake. I do believe it is going to make Mama smile, y'all. It looks good. It looks good. It smells good. Let me cut a piece here. Will you hand me a paper plate, please, baby? I better use a fork here. See if we can't get a good piece up and on the plate. Alright, we're on the plate. Hopefully this shot's going to come out good. Now remember some of that fruit topping that I made earlier with the raspberries and the strawberries and the cherries, and I guess that's it. I added a little bit of sugar, and there we go. Mama's birthday cheesecake. I believe she is going to love it. And it is good stuff, guys. Made with love. And it turned out pretty good, I think. So, there you go. There we have it. It's got a really good, rich texture to it. And hope you enjoyed it. So, everybody, I wish Mama a happy birthday today. We're going to get on with it. And thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. The end. There we go, y'all. That's what I live for right there. Good days. The end. Buzz, the end.